Last time Freddie and I were together, we were testifying about wages and poor people. We're testifying with Congressman Keith Ellison, who was concerned that our government actually, through government contractors, pays people nearly the minimum wage.
Right.
Repeat that. Our government pays our workers, indirectly, government contractors, almost a little bit close to the minimum wage, maybe at 10 or 15 cents more.
Right.
Meanwhile, Freddie, you have these folks who are out there protesting these fast food places, which you shouldn't eat at anyway,
Right.
but just for the record, nothing but grease.
Make it plain.
But these folks are picketing for $15 an hour.
Right.
And a lot of people, including a lot of us, say that's unrealistic. Here in Washington, D.C., Wally's World, Walmart, whatever, they want to come in here and pay the minimum wage of $8.25, which is the minimum wage in D.C. There's been a proposal that big box stores with high profits pay $12.
Yeah.
They're holding the city in hostage, saying, well, if we pay $12, we're not going to open up all these stores. Is $12 an hour a reasonable amount of money for these people, given the situation? Freddie, take our conversation from the theological, although I know you're going to hit there, to these issues of wages, to what people are paid and what's wrong and right about the way we choose to compensate people for their labor.
Right. And Dr. Malveaux, I want to piggyback on what Dr. Moss said. You're teaching us, and I hope we appreciate the fact that Dr. Julianne Malveaux is a graduate of MIT, and with her brilliance and intellectual capacity, she uses her ivory tower genius to come down to the ebony streets in order to make a difference for you and for me. And so I salute you for the fact that you are both brilliant and prophetically where the people are. You are a gift to our time, and so I thank you so much for
Thank you, my brother.
And then, of course, we cannot help but salute and appreciatively applaud one who is often taken for granted, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who is a gift to us. Reverend Jackson is a gift to us, and I hope that we will always be appreciative of the fact that much of what we enjoy is because of Reverend Jesse Jackson. You cannot get excited about the family living in the White House without thinking about the fact, had it not been for 1988 and 1984, Barack Obama would not be the president. So I salute you, Reverend Jackson, for being the trailblazer and the prophetic witness that you are. God bless you, and thank you so much. Now, to answer the question, I think it's very important, as far as I'm concerned, that we learn to rehumanize the impoverished. And so when Dr. Malveaux talks about the fact that we were here a few weeks ago talking to the Progressive Caucus about the low wages, the underemployment of government workers, when you visit the Smithsonian, when you go to a Union Station, be careful how you treat a lot of the workers there, because unfortunately many of them are making barely above minimum wage. On top of that, no benefits. Living in the nation's capital, employed by the federal government through their contractors. And Dr. Malveaux brilliantly broke it down that they received their contractors. The contractors received their contracts, watch this, because they have the lowest bid. And of course, if I give you a low bid and I want to make some money, I'm going to pay low wage to those at the bottom while still making a pretty penny for myself. And so we came here to say it is an insult that the government, along with McDonald's and Wally's World, has the unmitigated gall to participate in underemploying people. And so we were calling upon the federal government to take a look at its policy that promotes and perpetuates underemployment. Here's what gets me, and that is to bring it back to the theological, what we won't hear this weekend as we continue the identity theft of Dr. King and romanticizing and de-radicalizing Dr. King is the last sermon he did not get to preach. According to certain scholars, including Michael Eric Dyson, when Dr. King was assassinated there on the balcony of Lorraine Motel, in the breast pocket of his suit jacket was an outline of a sermon he was preaching that coming Sunday. The outline of the sermon was entitled, "Why America May Go to Hell." Now, you ain't gonna hear that this weekend, but that's what Doc was about to preach. Why America may go there. I wish I could have gotten a hold of that sermon. I wish he could have preached it, because I don't know what text he was going to use. So I decided to use my anointed imagination and give a text to it in order to answer your question. The text I believe he would use is Matthew chapter 25, when Jesus says, listen, at the end, here's what's going down. I'm going to separate the sheep from the goats. And watch the text. The text says that he's going to separate nations, not individuals, because oftentimes we get caught up in an individualistic gospel as opposed to dealing with structures and systems. And so when Jesus separates the sheep from the goats, he's separating nations. And he says, I was hungry, did you feed me? Thirsty, did you give me drink? In prison, did you come see about me? Etc. When, Lord, in as much as you did it to the least of these, you've done it also unto me. Here's what is so powerful. Jesus is basically saying, if you did me wrong, you're going to hell. And so maybe what Dr. King was going to preach for him that Sunday was Matthew chapter 25, which said America may go to hell because of how we underemploy, because of how we mistreat those who are impoverished. And until we watch this, rehumanize the impoverished, rehumanize. One of the things that's gone down, you have one political party that treats the poor as a political pinata, just beating the hell out of them. You have another party that ignores the poor and renders them invisible. We don't even rehumanize those who are impoverished. And so what Reverend Jesse Jackson did, 84 and 88, I won't forget the speeches as long as I stay black. Reverend Jackson brilliantly rehumanized the poor. Do you recall the speech where Reverend Jackson talked about how if you go to the hospital, there are people who are working in hospitals who, if they get sick, cannot afford to stay in that hospital, though they work hard every day. They work 2 and 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. And so instead of mislabeling and misrecognizing them, the impoverished, as lazy, as pimping the system, maybe we need to rehumanize them and stop buying into the marketing of the right wing that has done a good job of bastardizing the reputation of the impoverished. How are you going to call me lazy and I'm working every day for barely $8 an hour? On top of that, I have no benefits, and yet you judge me? Jesus says, before you judge me, check yourself, because you're on your way to hell. Because when you do it to them, you're doing it to me. So maybe when we check out poor people, we need to see Jesus in every person who is impoverished, because if we see Jesus, then maybe we won't diss them and misjudge them and misrepresent them. I think I said something.